What's up, you guys, and welcome back to some more rSlash Real Talk Stories with your boy RT and my dude Dale. Y'all, today we are diving into some real talk and my ahole stories where OP finds that he has to pregame before eating dinner with his wife. I don't know about y'all, but this is hilarious. This just sounds hilarious, but it's not what you guys think. So without any further ado, y'all, let's dive right on in.
My wife and I are both 32. Since we got married and moved in together 5 months ago, my wife has simply not made nearly enough food for me. This is not a kind of situation where I'm constantly agitated at her for incompetence or anything like that. I would be more than happy to microwave a burrito. I would be more than happy to whip up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I can't. My wife has every single night of our marriage done the same thing. She'll make me a tiny dinner. I'm talking like a Chinese chicken salad with 30 grams of chicken and 10 leaves of lettuce arranged fashionably with dressing. When I finish eating, I'm still hungry because for a 230-pound man who works a physical labor job, it's not enough food. At first, I tried to openly communicate with her, but she always took it horribly. She would adopt a 1,000-yard stare and then begin talking about how incompetent she is and how she can't even make her husband a proper dinner. I'd try to calm her down with, "Oh, honey, that's not the case, I just eat too much," or "Don't worry about it, I can make a bit more." I'd try to be overwhelmingly positive. It never helped. She would always just get incredibly disappointed in herself, cry, and/or take it out on me. Then she would make the same exact amount the following day. After the communication route failed, I tried to eat her dinners as is. It became hard to sleep at night due to hunger, and I lost 7 pounds in the first month. Eventually, I figured out my own system. On my way home from work, I started swinging by a fast food restaurant and getting myself a burger. I would basically pre-game her meals with some more calories. I figured it was win-win, as what she doesn't know can't hurt her, and I could have my fill of food. I would eat on my way home, walk in the door, pick at the salad or quinoa or homemade mac and cheese she made, compliment her for her delicious cooking, and later dispose of the wrappers discreetly. 2 days ago, I was on my way home and in line at a drive-thru. My mother-in-law was coming out of the restaurant. She ran over and greeted me. I asked her in a humorous way not to tell her daughter where she saw me because she'd take it badly, and she agreed, but then she narked on me anyway. I got home to a furious wife who demanded details. When I provided the truth, she got extremely angry and looked legitimately hurt. I'm not good at handling confrontation and feel like I betrayed my wife in some way. Was I wrong here?
10 leaves of lettuce, ladies and gentlemen, 30 grams of chicken, and 10 leaves of lettuce. All that comes to mind is a man's got to eat. Okay? I mean, OP already made it very clear that he works a very labor-intensive job, very physically straining. He's a big guy. He's a guy that needs to eat because of the type of physical labor that he does. And I mean, he's just hungry. So I think it is perfectly fine to go about pre-gaming before eating your wife's dinner. It's not like you were never forthcoming about it. You were very communicative about the situation with your wife. You communicated exactly what the issues were, how they could be fixed, tried to come to some sense of rationalization, but it just does not seem like it is clicking with your wife. For some very, very strange reason, it seems like it is just not connecting with your wife. And I mean, it's usually, I mean, let's just be honest, you guys. It's usually the female that is complaining that the male in the relationship, in that type of relationship, is not communicating well enough. They are not getting their thoughts across properly. And in this case, it seems like OP has done a very, very good job of trying to communicate his concern about his meals, about eating. I mean, one of the comments in this particular Reddit story says this. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It says, "It's a little concerning that she goes full passive aggressive when you, aka OP, says something to her. It sounds like she has a really hard time when her carefully crafted mental image of herself is even slightly challenged." So I tend to believe that this particular commenter could be spot on. It seems like, being that you, OP, has been very, very open about the issues when it comes to just a basic, simple, divorce, causing issue, and at least in my mind, you've been very, very open and forthcoming about this particular just food issue. But it seems like your wife is just dead set on her thoughts about what it is that she's going to cook, how it's going to look. And whenever you try to just, share your thoughts about it, she does become very passive aggressive. And I don't understand. It could be because of, the way in which she views herself. Maybe she has some insecurities. Maybe there are some things that she has to work through. Maybe, she has certain levels of expectation for herself. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it's funny that, her mom narked on you. But, I don't think that it's a bad thing. It's not like you're not eating her food. It's not like you said her food was disgusting. It's just, it's not enough food. So, being that you've already told her that and she's not doing anything about it, what does she expect you to do? Continue to not eat enough food and just be hungry, or continue to lose weight, unintentionally? So no, OP, you are not the a-hole for pre-gaming your wife's meals. I think it's hilarious what's going on here. But at the same time, I think it's very sad what's going on here between OP and his wife. Even though they have an open line of communication, it seems like there's just not a full desire to change as a result of communicating said issues. So I think that's something that's definitely going to be a little bit rocky for OP and his wife. Granted, we don't know. It could just be with the food, but it might be something that is translating into other areas of OP's life. So this could be something that leads to OP kind of really looking at his marriage with his wife and seeing exactly where these particular moments are present, and if it's just with the dinner or if it happens to be with other areas of their marriage and their relationship. So I don't know. Best of luck to you, OP, with your future pre-gaming activities prior to your wife's meals. Next story, y'all.
This is a bit of an odd situation, so I figured I'd come to Reddit for some fresh perspectives. So, for the past, I'd say, 3 months, my older son Rex, 15, always, and I mean always, gets hiccups midway through dinner. I'm not sure what kind of glitch is going on. I've had him checked out and apparently nothing is wrong except maybe eating too fast. He has tried slowing down, but no luck. Ordinarily, this wouldn't be much of a problem, except my younger son Marshall, 13, has a phobia of hiccups. Yes, it's a real thing. He's been totally freaked out and usually had his hands clamped over his ears every time we sat down to dinner. I felt really bad. His anxiety is terrible, and it was beyond just him being annoyed. I've tried a lot of things, from hiccup remedies for Rex and some therapy for Marshall, but it just doesn't seem to be working. Last week, I decided Rex should just eat upstairs. I think he's old enough to not care as much about sitting at the table. Plus, the hiccups are embarrassing to him, so I figured he'd enjoy the privacy. Well, my sister is a big-time busybody. She's always asking my kids all kinds of invasive questions. I was on the phone with her the other day, and guess who's telling me I'm a bad mother for daring to consider my child with a phobia? I defended my position by acknowledging that yes, Rex might be feeling a slight amount of extra embarrassment because he has to eat upstairs, but honestly that's nothing compared to the terror his brother was experiencing when he was downstairs. I don't think my sister understands the gravity of a phobia. She just thinks Marshall doesn't like hiccups, and that's it. But then again, she's always been dismissive of mental issues. That said, I guess her words did have an effect on me because I'm still thinking about it now. Am I the a-hole here for how I'm handling things?
So let me get this straight. So Rex has hiccups. Your youngest son doesn't like hiccups and has a phobia. And again, I'm not phobia shaming. I feel like phobias are real. I feel like everybody down to their deepest core has some type of a phobia, no matter how big or how small. But your youngest son has a phobia of hiccups. So the way in which you painted this picture, it seems like you forcefully made your son go eat his food. Rex, that is, the oldest one who has the hiccups. You forcefully made him go eat his food in his room, behind a closed door, alone. I don't know about you, but that seems like more of a punishment than anything. I'm all about giving kids options. Of course, within reason. Kids don't need a whole lot of options. They're kids. They need more direction than they need options. But it seems like, there could have been at least some options laid out here. I don't know. Maybe Rex wants to eat in his room by himself. I mean, he's 15. Usually at that age, that's when you tend to not want to hang out with your family or your parents as much as you used to, which is normal. It's your teenage years. But Rex could be that one anomaly, 15-year-old that actually enjoys spending time with his family, at least at dinner time. So you've essentially taken that opportunity away from your son to be able to do that. And again, I get you're having to look out for your younger boy as well, but it seems like you put your younger kid on a higher pedestal and you kind of put Rex on the sacrificial altar, and he's like the lamb being led out for the slaughter, so he has to be sacrificed, and he has to make the sacrifices in order to accommodate your younger son, which in totality, it's not fair in my opinion. So I feel like there could have been some additional options that could have been thrown out there. I mean, see where both Rex and your younger son wants to eat. See what they want to do, how they want to handle it, what might work, what your 15-year-old is comfortable with. It just seems like, it just feels, I know it's not intentionally, a punishment that you are implementing with Rex, but it just feels like a punishment to me. I get that teenagers enjoy doing things alone. I get that it's a transitional phase for them. And I think that eating alone is not the problem. I just feel like it just, the way in which you went about it, OP, just makes it seem, and maybe it's the way in which you told the story, it just makes it seem like you banished your older son to his room to eat by himself. And maybe you gave him the option. Maybe he chose that option. But I feel like there needs to be some clarification in that, because it just doesn't sound good so far to me. I don't know. It really depends. So I think for the grand scheme of things, if you chose for your son to go and eat in his room by himself, you are 110% the a-hole. Absolutely. That's a punishment, and he should not be punished for just having hiccups. That's a natural bodily function. Now, if it's a situation where you gave Rex options and he chose that as an option to potentially help his brother and to, alleviate him from being the cause of the issue, and just because he's cool with it, because he's a teenager, then no, you're not the a-hole at all. So it just depends on how you went about it. So you guys, I want y'all to let me know down in the comment section, do you feel like OP gave Rex the choice? Do you feel like she turned around and made the choice for Rex? Where are you guys laying at with this particular story? Because I don't know, I'm kind of impartial. I'm kind of in the middle, just because it's not really made extremely clear if there was a choice given to Rex. Again, if it was a choice, not the a-hole. If it was not a choice and it was forced, yes, you're 110% the a-hole. But y'all let me know what you think down in the comment section, y'all.
This is a throwaway account for obvious reasons. My, female 37, ex-husband, male 39, and I were married for 12 years and got a divorce because surprise. Not to me, I actually was a lesbian all along. We have 2 kids together, female 9 and male 8. My ex got remarried 2 years ago, and for the last 6 months the arrangement has been our kids stay with their dad every other weekend. His wife has 3 kids from another marriage, all 12 and older, and they don't have a super consistent custody arrangement, so I never know when they'll be with their mom. I'm a big-time hobby baker. I even made my ex's wedding cake when he got remarried, and it brings me so much joy to cook and bake for the people I love. My kids affectionately call my creations Mommy Bakes. Since my kids started spending consistent time at their dad's, I've been sending them off with enough Mommy Bakes for the 2 of them to share for the weekend. Recently, I noticed when I unpack their bags, the goodies are untouched. I asked them about it, and the first couple times they said they just weren't hungry, or that their stepmom had made them something instead. This last weekend, they came home with the goodies still packaged and a note that said, "Bring enough to share." I texted their stepmom about it, and she sent me a lengthy text about how her kids don't think it's very fair that my kids get special treatment, and that going forward she'll start throwing the treats away instead of politely sending them home untouched. I haven't responded because I'm not quite sure what to say. I never thought providing food for my kids for the weekend would cause a problem. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. Since a lot of people are hung up on the quantity, I explained in a comment that the rest of what I make is put in their school lunches for the week.
So it seems like OP and OP's ex-husband, first and foremost, don't have a malice relationship. It doesn't seem like they have resentment or that they don't co-parent well. It seems like they are doing well. Again, OP didn't really kind of leave any paper trails or hints that there are issues between her and her ex-husband. So it seems like they might be co-parenting fairly well, which is great. It does, however, seem like the new wife, OP's ex-husband's current wife, has some entitlement and some childish issues. Like, she is acting very childish in this particular situation. Like, you know, if I were OP's ex-husband, I'd be like, look, you know what? My ex-wife is taking care of my children, and I really appreciate that. She is doing something she loves, as well as she is caring and tending for our children and making sure that they have something special from her. So I feel like OP is definitely not the a-hole for doing what it is that she is doing when it comes to baking these goods and sending them for just her son and daughter, and not necessarily for, her children's step siblings. I think that it's perfectly right. It's perfectly fine. It's her prerogative. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to make enough for all of the kids. I feel like if the stepmom wasn't entitled and didn't act childish and kind of approach the situation from a different angle, saying, hey, you know, my kids, they really kind of show interest in your baking. Is there any way that I can put some money in your pocket? And when you send over, child A and child B, that you could turn around and, send some extra for my kids, because I think they enjoy your baking. It's really good, and it brings a smile to their face. It's something that they can all kind of connect to you with. It just seems like, the stepmom is very insecure, in my personal opinion, and entitled and very childish. So I think OP probably should take this particular message, screenshot, or take a picture of the message, of the note, and then send it in a group chat between her, the stepmom, as well as the ex-husband. That way, everybody is receiving the same information and able to communicate with one another. There's no missing information, between any party or anything whatsoever. That's what I would do. That's how I would handle it. That's how I would shut it down and allow your ex-husband to handle the situation accordingly. Don't get upset. Don't get malicious. Don't try to be vengeful. Just allow that to sit there and marinate. And let the stepmom realize that she just messed up. Okay, you done messed up now, Aaron. All right, so I feel like it's one of those situations. So OP, you're not an a-hole. I think you're a loving mom. I feel like if the stepmom approached the situation differently, you probably would be more than happy to send your baked goods that you enjoy making, sending some extras with your children to their step siblings. I don't think that you would have a problem. I feel like you would be very open to that, but the stepmom is just not approaching the situation appropriately, in my opinion. I don't know. I could be 110% wrong, but I want you guys, you listeners in the YouTube universe, to let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Is OP the a-hole? Is the stepmom the a-hole? Does the stepmom sound childish? Does she sound entitled, or does she sound normal? I don't think she does. I think she definitely sounds childish. But y'all, let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. Be sure to smash that like button if you guys have enjoyed today's video, as well as take a moment to subscribe. It helps me. It helps the channel out. It helps us to grow this community. You guys press the bell notification icon. That way you are notified every time I upload a brand new Real Talk video. And until next time, you guys, many blessings and much love, y'all.